I mean, we all called that, right? I don't think anyone else thought it was going to be anybody else. Am I right? We got a great episode of Dynamite to talk about. I had a moment where I was like, shit, I'm going to have to talk about Collision. No, because I already did. Okay, all right, let's start the show. Should we start the show? Let's start the show. Holy buckets. How we doing, everybody? Smells like Wrasslin, episode 74. Eric here. With another review. Dynamite. Talking about what's going on in the world of wrestling. I was talking about this with a friend of mine the other day. And wrestling is booming right now. You know, they're doing great attendance everywhere. Obviously, WWE is selling out and drawing massive crowds wherever they go. AEW is building their audience, and they're getting bigger crowds. You know, I think they're almost at 75,000 paid seats for All In at Wembley. This is a great time to be a fan, man. There's awesome wrestling going on fucking everywhere. Everywhere. In the WWE right now, probably the most amount of storylines that I've been into in WWE in quite some time that had nothing to do with NXT. Stuff that's going on with the Alpha Academy and Maxine Dupree. That's been great stuff. And their feud with the Viking Raiders and Valhalla. The stuff that's been going on, obviously, with the Bloodline. The stuff that's been going on with the Judgment Day. The stuff that's been going on with Imperium. The stuff, it's just like, it's good shit, pal. It's fucking good shit. Yes, where is Johnny Gargano? All right, that's the cherry on top of this beautiful fucking wrestling Sunday that we have right now. All right, we got a little bit of AEW, we got a little bit of New Japan, we got a bunch of WWE, and then that little cherry on top is Johnny Gargano fucking owning everybody and winning championships. But where is he? Where is he? Where is he? Nowhere to be found. Guy was injured. He's healthy. He said that he's healthy. They didn't bring him back in Cleveland in front of his hometown. What the fuck? What the fuck is going on? I am like, he's just too good. Now, I was talking about this. Oh shit, yeah, Otis, yeah, definitely. I mean, listen, if thank you! If fucking Alpha Academy, like here's the thing right now that I don't like about one team holding two sets of belts. Because if they didn't, then like a team like Alpha Academy, you could push them, you could use this momentum and push them towards a title run. And they would have a fantastic babyface run. And if you really got what's going on with Maxine Dupree like down packed, if they really start getting her to be a great wrestler and a good talker, they could push her to a women's title match. You know what I mean? Granted, I don't think she should win it, even though it would be great and a feel-good moment if she did. But like, that's how you capitalize on momentum. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't always have to be built. Sometimes it just occurs. And you just have to hop on that. But I don't know what the fuck Vince is doing right now, because it's pretty cut and dry. It's like, Vince is definitely like influencing shit on the show. Because a lot of stuff that I saw from before Triple H, I see now. But there's still like, but you can see the influence of Triple H because there's a lot of good storylines going on in WWE right now. Like a lot of worthwhile watching TV. I'll say honestly, still like watching Raw is really tough because 3 hours is a fucking long ass time, man. It really is. I actually try and catch Raw on Hulu the next day. So where it's condensed and shorter. We got Process in the chat. Yes! Johnny Oregano, Tomato Champion, DIY. Like, that's another team that you could build up to be future tag team champions. They could do the same shit that they're doing with Owens and Zayn with Gargano and Ciampa. You want to know why? Because they've already fucking done it already. And NXT was one of the greatest storylines they ever had. All right? The same, just as good as what was going on with Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens in that storyline too. You know, they need to split up those titles. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, like, there are tag teams in the tag team division in which you could build storylines, feuds, and title reigns. I understand why they put it on one team, because they weren't really building their tag team division. You know what I mean? Like, Vince isn't really a big tag team wrestling guy, but by hook or by crook, these tag teams have emerged with great storylines. Viking Raiders, the Alpha Academy, you have a DIY that you could do there. You know, there's a lot of good shit that you could do. So, you know, I mean, but it's the same thing with AEW. It's just missed opportunities and just missed momentum and just failing, not being able to capitalize. You know what I mean? But like, you know, like, but like I gotta say, man, wrestling is great, man. Like WWE has been the most fun for me as it's been in a while. I know we got a couple of people in the chat. Is NXT even worth watching, man? Like, should I take time out of my schedule? Like, I still DVR it. I just don't watch any of the episodes. Is it fucking worth it, dude? Can anyone tell me that? That's what I'd like to know. Is NXT worth watching? Because when the Black and Gold died, a part of me died. A part of me fucking died. I really loved that that show. That was one of the best. That's what got, like, my you know, I've been watching wrestling since I was a kid, but, you know, there have been times where I took massive breaks, and I remember I got back into it through my grandpa, and I think I was watching, what was it? I think the first pay-per-view I watched when he got me back into it was Great American Bash, and it was Bobby Lashley versus John Cena for the WWE title. And it was the first time they ever did like a face versus face kind of thing, and a guy who was just as athletic as Cena doing that or whatever. So like, it's reminding me of those days where I was like, I'm really excited to like watch wrestling. Like every week there's something good. And the cool thing about it is that, you know, like when we stopped having, like, you know, like when Vince bought out WCW, like there was only one type of wrestling and one kind of style. Like now for me, I could watch like 6 different styles. I pick and choose what I like. If I want to watch WWE style, I'll watch WWE style. I'm telling you right now, this recently has been the most amount of time that I've gone back and watched recent pay-per-views of WWE on Peacock and sit there and watch the whole thing and still enjoy it. I've been doing that more now than I have since I was watching takeovers on Peacock. Jordan in the chat saying, I hope they do continue to push and reinvent Corbin, though. I will say, though, I like the fact that he was bringing back the Lone Wolf gimmick. You could really make that into something pretty fucking awesome. You know what I mean? Like, that Lone Wolf gimmick was great. I think he's definitely built up a body of work on the main roster. Like, everybody knows who Baron Corbin is. He was on every show, every episode of Raw, almost every episode of SmackDown, Saturday Night Main Event, like, everything. Like, he was in pay-per-views, he was at Mania. Like, the guy has exposure. So, like, and it's not like the main roster isn't hurting for great characters. You know what I mean? Like, but like, you know, like I want them to use him, but like I see guys like Karrion Kross who could also fill in that like dark, mysterious kind of brooding heel character that you could actually do with Baron Corbin with the whole Lone Wolf gimmick. And like they're just missing out on that opportunity. And they have so much television time. But again, this is what I was saying before. The same problem that's going on with AEW is going on with WWE. There's just opportunities that they could capitalize on. And now, and especially with AEW, they have enough television time to put spotlight on this and make good stories. Like, I loved Baron Corbin. I loved the Lone Wolf character. His work at NXT was awesome. Do you remember when he had that thing where he was putting guys away with the end of days in less than 10 seconds? They would ring the bell, the crowd would count to 10, and he had already won the match by then. The first time he ever had like gone, I think the first time anyone took him beyond 10 seconds should have been at a takeover, but it actually ended up happening on some like random throwaway episode of NXT. I actually forgot who actually brought him to that point, but and it was a guy I don't even think they did anything with, if I'm not mistaken, but I could be wrong. But you know what I mean? Like, there's some good shit Like, there's really good shit going on out there. There's a lot. Another, another case of an opportunity I feel is wasted is LA Knight. LA Knight, I think they know exactly what they have for him, but it's just like, it has Vince's fingerprints all over it. There's a guy that everyone wants to see get a big push, and then he's like, I'm going to give him like a mediocre push. I'm going to push him to the United States title or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, at this point, they've elevated the IC title with Gunther. They're like, you really have to be something if you're going to beat Gunther. You know what I mean? And I don't even think LA Knight, like, at this point, like, either you're going to give him a United States title or you're going to give him like a title shot against somebody. But I don't know, but like, LA Knight is a guy, like, I feel like if they don't capitalize on it soon, like, the crowd's gonna be like, and then they're gonna just move on and see if there's like someone else that they could get behind. It's just like dying momentum, you know what I mean? But I've been seeing online, like, they've been finding this motherfucker everywhere. Like, he's been in so many backstage segments, commercials, background characters in television shows. He's been in almost every wrestling promotion there is. Like, the guy's fucking everywhere. It's like, where's Waldo right now? People just trying to find LA Knight and all these things. I mean, granted, you could probably go on his IMDb and just scour and see all the things that he's been in, but like, holy shit. So, loving the WWE right now. I never thought I'd say that if you were to like flash forward like to the beginning of this podcast, I don't think I would be saying that at all. But honestly, like, they've been turning it around slowly but surely, and their sales and their profits and their tickets and their merchandise are all reflecting that. So this is like a really fucking awesome time. And you know, with AEW now, with the start of Collision, and Collision, I have to say, has been one of the best wrestling shows that's on television right now. Now, I used to say that about Dynamite, and I used to say that about fucking Rampage. So I feel like they're really good at this, like the first like couple of 6-12 months, but I feel like long term, all of a sudden things start getting old hat. But right now, Collision's been awesome. It's really been held up by the fact that they were able to do this tournament. And the tournament really doesn't require you to like book any kind of feuds or grudges or whatnot. I mean, like, you have the opportunity to, yeah, but this is a good time to just showcase like good matches. You know what I mean? We had CM Punk and Samoa Joe. The tag match between Bullet Club Gold and FTR was fucking phenomenal. We got Jordan in the chat saying that's exactly what's going to happen. The crowd is over the moon for him. They're not going to push him, and the hype is going to fizzle out. You're right. I feel like the crowd, NXT, you know, LA Knight should have had it. I feel like he could have had an NXT title run. You know what I mean? But they really wanted to push Braun Breaker at the time. But yeah, that's what's going to happen. Like, there are guys there that there are really, the crowd is begging for it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand what's wrong with just giving the crowd what they want. You know? That's the one thing I will say that happens a little bit more in AEW than in WWE, at least for me, because obviously, like, I have a particular taste, but like, I feel like sometimes the booking is catered to be like, this is what Eric wants, we're going to give it to him. You know what I mean? And then when WWE is like, this is what Eric wants, we're going to kind of dangle it in front of him a little bit and see if he kind of holds on and get him to watch week after week, month after month. And so, because you're going to keep on dangling this in front of me. But I've been watching wrestling for forever. Like, I could see them doing that right off the bat. You know what I mean? At this point, I'm just like, you know what, Vince, what I'm going to do is I'm not going to give you your ratings. I'm going to wait until the guy that I want gets his actual push. And then I'm going to watch. So you didn't get my ratings. So this whole plan of dangling this in front of me doesn't work. It doesn't work with someone like me. So like, I want to see, I mean, if LA Knight got the US title, I'd be happy with it. You know what I mean? Because a guy like him could elevate that title. The same thing like what they're doing with Gunther and how he's elevating the Intercontinental title. The reign that he's having right now, I respect that Intercontinental title more because this guy has beaten fucking everyone. Every single time I thought Gunther was going to lose, he won. Clash at the Castle, he won. WrestleMania, he won. And that was a triple threat between Drew and Sheamus. So, like, that IC title to me is important. You know what I mean? I don't think that it would go to a guy like LA Knight. I really think they have their eyes set on it going to Drew or Sheamus or both. One of them gets it, and then one of them loses it to the other. So at this point, I think in terms of titles, it's got to be the U.S. title because they're not really doing anything with Austin Theory. I mean, they tried to change his character or whatever, but like it's time. You could still develop him with him not having a title. A title brings more eyes to him because he's a champion and he's booked as an important dude. But give it to fucking LA Knight, man. Like, that would freaking own. The guy has an opportunity to come out, do his shtick. The ratings go up because people want to see LA Knight. You could put him in whatever kind of feud you want. You could still have great feuds and great wrestling matches with mid-card titles. So that could 110% happen. Give the belt to LA Knight. It should probably happen at SummerSlam, right? You know, he's a big enough name that you should make his title win happen on a big enough stage. So, you know, give it to LA Knight at SummerSlam, man. It's right around the corner. But, yeah, I do agree, Process. LA Knight should have had an NXT title run. It just unfortunately didn't happen. So let's talk about Dynamite tonight. Pretty solid show. Not like anything like blow away, except for really towards the end. There was some definitely good wrestling on the show. So, let's see what the card was. We had MJF and Adam Cole versus Brian Cage and Big Bill in this blind eliminator tournament. Orange Cassidy and Darby Allin facing Sammy Guevara and Daniel Garcia in, again, the same tournament. Swerve Strickland versus the debuting 18-year-old prodigy, Nick Wayne. The Blackpool Combat Club and the Elite reveal their fifth men for Blood and Guts. Danielson obviously not being able to compete in Blood and Guts due to his broken forearm that he suffered at Forbidden Door in his match with Okada. The Elite are down Eddie Kingston because he is in the G1 and he won the New Japan Strong Openweight title. So not only is he in a tournament, but he's also a champion there, so he's not going to be able to make it. So they debut their fifth members tonight. And in the, I think it's the semifinals of the Owen Hart Foundation Women's Tournament, Ruby Soho versus Sky Blue. So we got Process to check. Does Nick Wayne have world championship potential? I don't know, Process. It is his first match. I know that he's been wrestling on the independents. I know he's been wrestling for Defy Wrestling, which is where, what's his name? Darby Allin has come from, wrestling out in Seattle, Washington. So it's way too early to tell. I mean, right now, I didn't see anything super spectacular, you know? I would say, if you want to put it in real world terms, a kid who's 18 years old, wrestling for the first time on national television, he didn't do too bad. He didn't do too bad at all. You know, he wrestled a guy like Swerve, who's immensely talented, and is definitely the kind of guy you want to put in the ring with a guy like Nick Wayne to kind of showcase what Nick Wayne could do. But it's too early to tell, bud. It's too early to tell. But I think if an 18-year-old has a debut like that, he's someone worth keeping an eye on in the future. You know what I mean? I'd like to see him face guys like Action Andretti and Dante Martin, John Silver, Alex Reynolds, Stu Grayson, guys that are fantastic wrestlers who you could put against him. He could have wins. He could build up these wins, and it's not really anything too crazy. But I mean, they signed him to an AEW contract, so it's not like he's going to be a guy that's going to be going to Ring of Honor. So I will definitely be keeping an eye on the progression of Nick Wayne. I'm curious to see how often they're going to showcase him on any sort of AEW television, unless he's going to be a guy that's going to be mostly on, I don't know, they don't have Dark anymore, so maybe a guy who's just mostly on Rampage, maybe? I don't know. But dude, everybody has potential until they don't, my friend. Everybody has potential until they don't. So, let's start the review for tonight. The show starts with Chris Jericho facing Commander. Commander, really cool lucha talent that they have showcasing on AEW. Chris Jericho is obviously one of the greatest, if not the greatest of all time. Excellent match. Ends with Jericho submitting him for the win. And then you have Don Callis, which is, I guess, really what this was leading up towards. Don Callis comes out. I gotta say, I hope they don't change the Don Callis entrance. I think it's fucking phenomenal because I think there's no music, nothing rhythmic, nothing for people to get onto. It's just a tone that signifies the arrival of Don Callis. And the only music that they want to hear is the chorus of boos from the crowd. And I think it's a perfect presentation. I think the chef's kiss on it was this picture of Don Callis looking like a smug son of a bitch on the giant screen as this like low methodic humming happens. It's just awesome. Awesome presentation. Kudos to whoever thought of that. Thumbs freaking up. I love it. Saskatoon booed the shit out of him. Callis put up a video of Jericho and Don Callis years and years and years ago together with what's his name? Bad News Allen. And I thought it was pretty cool. Don Callis is tugging at the heartstrings of Chris Jericho. And I don't know, is this going to be the first test for the Don Callis family to fight Jericho and his family? Is it going to be the Don Callis family versus the Jericho Appreciation Society? Two guys with factions named after them. But we also really don't know. Well, I think what I believe what the next member of the, I guess Pac is the first official member of the second member of the Don Callis family next to Konosuke Takeshita. So it's great to see Pac, by the way. Pac is an amazing talent. And I do believe that the open air that Collision has afforded is allowing Tony to bring back guys like Pac and put them on television. So I'm excited for that. So Jericho, again, kind of is mulling over the invitation to join the Don Callis family. He does have history with Don, but he also knows exactly what kind of man Don is. So it's really, I think it's coming down to Jericho. Like, is it a calculated risk for Jericho? Nick Wayne has featherweight championship potential. I mean, you know, listen, he's a kid. You know what I mean? Like, Sky Blue is older than him. Like, that's wild. I don't know. I mean, listen, he's going to get, my hope is he gets older, he puts on some weight, and he becomes like an American version of freaking Will Ospreay. Like, that's my hope for him. You know what I mean? It seems like that's the kind of guy he wants to be. I mean, I think he even wrestled Will Ospreay in Defy. So, that's how I would, but it's going to be a long time. It's going to be a long time. I mean, think about it this way. Guys like Top Flight, I mean, granted, they keep on getting injured based on their style of wrestling. So it's like, there are guys who are young, like, I'm still waiting for them to break out. I mean, Top Flight is one of the most, I gotta say, it's one of the most, like, sad, and I won't say sad, but it really is like a frustrating story. I mean, these brothers just, like, they came in like a house on fire, and, like, they just couldn't get healthy and get a rhythm and stay healthy and be on a roll and be a tag team and have FaceTime long enough. That's the same thing with Private Party. Private Party, these guys, I feel like they just never, like, they had, I don't know what it was. Like, I was really excited. They were getting a really serious push in the beginnings, like the beginning days of Dynamite. And then they kind of just fucking vanished. Like, I like Private Party. I want to see them. I think they have character. I think they're funny guys and they're talented in the ring. But I think, you know what? These guys are supposed to be really the future of AEW. But then, like, you see a story like Brian Pillman Jr., and they didn't even choose to renew his contract. So it's like, they didn't even see, like, hey, listen, we're just not going to invest, like, they're just going to invest money in other guys. I don't know. I mean, maybe Brian Pillman Jr. would do better in, like, NXT. You know? And then maybe he's hopefully get a push on. You know, Vince loves these, like, second, third generation guys because he books them as, like, second, third generation guys. You know what I mean? I mean, finally they started letting on to the fact that Braun Breaker was the son of a Steiner, which they should have led to that in the beginning. They shouldn't name them Braun Steiner, to be quite honest, but whatever. So, you know, it is what it is, but I digress. But I think a lot of these young guys, I think it's like, you know, probably, what are we in? Probably like 2030, we should start seeing them hit their stride. And if they're as good as they say they are and they're cultivated properly and, like, the AEW farm system and how they're building these guys up work out, like, AEW is going to be, the world of wrestling is going to be in great shape. Even if these guys don't stay in AEW, they go to, like, WWE, NXT, Ring of Honor, New Japan. I mean, the influx of young talent, like, wrestling is going to be good for the next several years, man. I mean, the amount of, because now there's so many businesses that are allowing this young talent to be showcased. It's great for the brand. It's great for the sport. Like, I'm excited. Like, there should be no wrestling fan upset right now because the tide's rising all ships, baby. And the only people who really benefit are us at the end of the day. Alex Marvez is in the parking lot. He's been in the car waiting for Jack Perry. He knocks on the window. Jack Perry says it's an unsafe working environment. Hook Hook opens the door. He gets into the car, and what the hell? Jesus. Okay. Hook gets into the car. Jack Perry tries to get out. He just screams, "Child locks!" And he finally gets out of the car and runs off. And that's it. So Hook's gonna be hunting him down. I mean, is this gonna be Hook's first loss? Is this Hook's like one of his first big high-profile feuds in AEW? I mean, is this what's gonna happen? I'm very, very curious to see what's gonna go on. Basically Hook goes into the camera and goes, "Keep running, Perry." So we'll see. The saga continues between Jack Perry and Hook. Renee Paquette sees Don Callis, who said that he's going to go out there alone and make the big announcement who the fifth man will be for the Blackpool Combat Club at Blood and Guts. Renee kind of remarks that she's a little surprised that Don's going out there alone, considering all like the incendiary stuff he said about Omega. But he said that he says that Omega is someone he's not afraid of, and he says he knows the real Kenny Omega, all this shit. So Shivani just continues to play up the fact that he thinks Don Callis is disgusting and calls him an idiot. And then Excalibur calls MJF an idiot, and they throw it to a video segment which they posted online on AEW Games. Actually, because they showcased Fight Forever, which I still haven't gotten yet. I'm probably going to pick it up next week. So they're at a bar. They have some drinks. Some girls come over. MJF says, 2 for me, 2 for you. Adam Cole says he can. He loves Britt Baker. MJF goes. He goes up to the girls. He says, "Who wants to accompany the champ to El Baño?" So he goes in there. He comes back. He zips up his fly and basically implying that he's just plowed out all these chicks inside the bathroom.
Come get on the train.
So there you go. So basically he was like, "Yo, I want to do something. Let's do something I want to do," because apparently like they're trying to portray Adam Cole's not the guy who's like going out and drinking and banging chicks. Like he has a girlfriend, he plays video games, he's a nice guy. So they cut to the segment with they're playing Fight Forever. They're playing as a tag team against FTR. And it's kind of like a bonding moment. He's like, "Why don't you play? You should play these video games more often." He's like, "You'd have to have friends to play video games." So, I mean, listen, we all know how this is going to play out. It's just some funny shit along the way, I guess. So, Shivani says that's 4 minutes of his life he'll never get back, which I fucking laughed my ass off. Next match on the Blind Eliminator Tournament, Daniel Garcia and Sammy Guevara defeat Orange Cassidy and Darby Allin. I was actually kind of hoping for Orange Cassidy and Darby Allin to be the guys to fight MJF and Adam Cole, especially. I think that would have been a fucking great tag match. But they're not going that way, and that really bums me out. So, it was a pretty solid match. They're still trying to get Sammy to this babyface like era, and like you could tell that the thing is the crowd kind of wants to boo him. And they're trying to gently, cautiously, and slowly try and show him as a babyface. So I just think, man, they should. If the crowd wants him to be a heel, then just let him be a fucking heel, man. Like, why fight against the curve? Like, why try and make it more difficult on yourself? But hey, listen, they already cashed their chips in with him having a baby, so that's it. They're committed. It looks like they're committed. So they do another video of Nick Wayne. He talks about his dad passing away and him and his connection and his friendship with Darby Allin. Really trying to promote the fact, like, because this is technically going to be the main event of the night. It was the last match of the night outside of them doing the Don Callis segment. So they got MJF is Renee is backstage with Adam Cole. You can see Adam Cole. It sounds like he's trying to explain to Britt as to what happened when he hung out with MJF, because obviously she probably saw the same video package we did. So, it seems like there's a lover's quarrel going on between the two of them. And Roderick Strong is there. He's got the neck brace gimmick, selling the effects of the attack from Samoa Joe. And he's asking Adam, like, what's going on? Are you really falling for this guy's shtick? Adam goes, listen, man, like, he's not half bad of a guy. You and I were fearsome enemies, and now we're like brothers. So, we'll see. And he gets a phone call. He gets a text message from MGF. And he said that he sees Brian Cage and he's sick. He doesn't think he's going to go to the ring. So Adam Cole leaves, calling MJF, yelling at him to get to the ring. The next match was the Blind Eliminator match. MJF and Adam Cole, obviously. They defeat Big Bill and Brian Cage in the semifinal match. It was mostly a comedy match. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's it. It was just a comedy match showcasing that these two guys don't get along. They want to play up the double clothesline. They want to play up these guys liking each other. So they are going to try and play up the fact that they want, it looks like they're trying to get the crowd invested to the fact that these guys, they want them to like each other. They want Adam Cole to, like, stop the boundaries. MJF breaks through. We all know that the second MJF breaks through, he's going to turn on Adam Cole. So I really do feel like probably the only way this really works out is they try and turn on each other at the same time. That would actually be pretty funny. So, we'll see. So they had the matching shirts. They do the whole promo, blah, blah, blah. And that's it. Obviously this is all leading up to the fact that these two are going to end up feuding again. There's going to be one more AEW title match, and it's going to be not a clear-cut victor, but there's going to be a winner because the last one had a draw, and that's going to be it. And MJF's going to move on to the next feud because CM Punk, and, they've already mentioned twice on Collision that belt that Punk has in his bag. They've never showed it, but they've mentioned it. So and that's supposed to be the original AEW looking title because this one has the Burberry on it for MJF. So, we'll see. Renee Paquette's backstage with Chris Hager. And he goes in there and they're talking about how, Jake saved his life in Abu Dhabi, which I'm not really sure what that's all about. If someone could explain that to me, that'd be great. He brought Hager into AEW and brought him into all of his factions and all this stuff. Like, Hager's been with Jericho since the beginning, you know what I mean? So, they're just going to kind of play this up. Like, is Chris Jericho going to join the Don Callis family? I mean, I guess this is also the Jericho face turn and the face turn for the JAS. Because, if you're going to have him go up against the Don Callis family, there's no way the Don Callis family is going to look like faces here. They're fucking hated. So, Ruby Soho defeats Sky Blue.
Come get on that.
Jesus. This was, it was a whatever match. It was okay. Ruby Soho is moving on to the finals. So there you go. Swerve Strickland. They do a, whatchamacallit. They do a music video with Harley Cameron, doing a rap diss video or whatever on the Acclaimed and Daddy Ass. She's definitely, like, there's video clips online of her, like, singing in studios and stuff like that. So there is, like, she has some talent. But it's whatever. It's just whatever. It's just a storyline that they're doing. But now that they have Aaron Solo and Johnny TV and QT Marshall, like, that's going to be there. That's going to be the trio that's going to fight the Acclaimed, I guess. Jordan in the chat, Jericho got in a fight with some dudes in Abu Dhabi who put a huge bounty on his head. Hager steps in to defend him. Holy shit, that's crazy. That really happened? They put a bounty on his head? Wow. So I'm pretty sure, like, Jericho is just always going to be looking out for Hager, I guess. Wow, that's crazy. I had no idea. Swerve Strickland defeats Nick Wayne in Nick Wayne's debut. Like I said, for an 18-year-old kid, his first time on television, not bad. You know what I mean? Not bad. There are a lot of people who are older than him that have had more experience, and they go on TV and they shit the bed. So, listen, I don't think that, like I said, I think this kid's going to hit his stride in, like, 2030. You know what I mean? Like, we got a long way to go to see what Nick Wayne is really, really capable of. He's young. He's going to have some injuries he's got to go through. If he could stay healthy in his youth and style of wrestling that doesn't put too much mileage on his body, he could really go far. But you can tell right now, Top Flight, those two brothers gotta be sitting down and thinking like, yo, we might have to change shit up. But it is the thing that makes them special, so it's gonna be a double-edged sword. So, yep, solid match. Well, it wasn't great, wasn't horrible, but it's Nick Wayne's debut. I have no idea what they're going to do with him going forward, but I'm curious to see how they're going to book him going forward. The final segment of Dynamite wasn't a match. It was the fifth men being revealed for Blood and Guts. Don Callis comes to the ring. He shits all over Kenny Omega, calls him a coward, calls him a punk. Omega walks to the ring. He gets jumped by Moxley and Takeshita, who are hiding in the crowd. Pac shows up out of nowhere. The returning Pac hits Kenny in the back of the head with a chair. They threaten to Pillmanize his neck in the frickin' in the middle of the ring. Basically, Moxley gives him a whole like any last request, and then Omega goes, "Look to the screen," and you look to the screen, and they show all these clips of Blood and Guts and Boston, and then all of a sudden you see all these clips of Kota Ibushi, and the crowd fucking goes nuts. So Kota Ibushi is the fifth man for the Blood and Guts match along with Pac. So it's going to be Hangman Adam Page, the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, and Kota fucking Ibushi versus the Blackpool Combat Club, consisting of Claudio Castagnoli, Wheeler Yuta, John Moxley, and then and the two members of the Don Callis family, which is Konosuke Takeshita and Pac. This is going to be awesome. Every single one of these guys in this match are fucking studs. It's going to be fantastic. Jordan in the chat, Ruby going over Sky sucks. It's expected, but I wish they would have given Sky the rub. I'm saying this because she's a good worker and she's over. I mean, hey, listen, like she's another one. Like she's going to grow and she's going to sink or swim. So keep on putting her on TV. Have her get used to being in front of the cameras. They need to start putting a mic in front of her and her on the camera more. She needs to get used to it. Because she has to have both sides of the coin. She has to have the character and the mic work, and she has to be a great wrestler. She's already solid in the ring. She just needs to work on her character. Because right now, she's this cute little girl with the fat ass who just goes like to everybody, you know? And it's Chicago and everybody loves her. So, but, yeah, you know, but you know what, dude? Like, I'm thinking like, a finals match between like Sky Blue and Athena, or Sky Blue and like Willow Nightingale. First off, if it's Sky Blue and Willow Nightingale's gonna fucking kill her. Sky Blue versus Athena, like I don't know if I could get excited about that match. You know what I mean? So I'm glad that we're seeing at least like it should be Ruby, honestly. Because to put over the Outcasts more. But yeah, you know, I mean, but Sky's gonna get her shot. Like of that I'm sure. So Rampage as it stands, it's going to be Willow Nightingale versus Athena in the Owen Hart Tournament semifinal. Returning Lance Archer versus Trent Beretta. They did show a video package of Lance Archer destroying people in both the UK and in Japan. Konosuke Takeshita is going to be in action. Naturally Limitless, which is Keith Lee and Dustin Rhodes, are going to be facing Matt Menard and Angelo Parker. Matt Menard and Angelo Parker, another tag team that I want them to have a little bit more of a rub. I feel like if they're going to be with the JAS, like you should be really doing something more with them. You know what I mean? So, but like the tag titles right now, they're like on such a fucking level with like FTR there. Like they're not going to let these tag titles be defended unless it's going to be against like top tier fucking tag teams that they're pushing on Dynamite or Collision. So like it kind of bums me out seeing like Keith Lee and Dustin Rhodes. Like Keith Lee is awesome. Like when I saw him in that tag match, I was like, this is the best Keith Lee has looked in fucking years. You know what I mean? Like I want to see more Keith Lee. You know, I want to finally see when the fuck are we going to see Keith Lee versus Swerve? You know? Like what's going on? Yeah, this is like the umpteenth time they brought back Lance Archer. This is like the umpteenth time they brought back Keith Lee. I'm like, what the fuck? We're going to hear from AEW Women's Champion Toni Storm, and we're going to hear from the Dark Order. Dark Order actually low-blowing Hangman and coming away with the win on the 100th episode of Rampage. And it looks like Dark Order's gone heel, but it looks like we're going to hear more about it on Rampage. On Collision, what a card, baby. FTR defend the AEW tag team titles against Switchblade Jay White and Juice Robinson in a 2 out of 3 falls tag match. That's going to be fucking awesome because that tag match that they had last week on Collision was fucking aces. They're going to do a 2 out of 3 falls. Look, Juice and Jay White are some of the best wrestlers in the world. They're going against one of the best tag teams in the world, FTR. I can't fucking wait. As a wrestling fan, you got to be fucking hyped for this shit. And then Ruby Soho will be fighting the winner of Whittle Nightingale versus Athena in the Owen Hart tournament final. I guess I mean, Athena is the ROH Women's Champion, so unless they have, Willow Nightingale come out with, some... And technically, what you could do is you could have Willow beat Athena in a fluke, lose to Ruby because she gets, the numbers advantage because of the Outcast, but you set up Willow for an ROH Women's Championship match, which very likely she could win and just be the ROH Women's Champion for a while and have her run, so it's definitely possible. Battle of the Belts... is going to be on the 15th of July, and Luchasaurus is defending the title against Shawn Spears. Dynamite next week, Blood and Guts, Jon Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli, Wheeler Yuta, Konosuke Takeshita, and the Bastard Pack versus Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson, Hangman Adam Page, and Kota fucking Ibushi in a blood and guts match to finally end this feud. Please, for the love of God, let this be the end of it. We've done Stadium Stampede. We've done 6-man tags. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. Let this be the end. Speaking of the end, it's the end of the goddamn podcast. Jordan, you think Willow? Yeah, I think. Do you think Willow is going to beat Athena and as you mean going over, or you think Willow's going to win the tournament? I'm very curious. I think she's going to go over Athena, but she's going to lose the tournament. Whew. I'm telling you, man, on these summer nights, doing the podcast in this room, I got 2 fans cooling off this monster rig I got. And I'm fucking sweating like a whore in church right now, dude. Yeah, I agree, dude. She's going over Athena, but I think she's going to lose to Ruby. Because they've been doing a thing Ruby's she's going to the finals again. So I feel like, yeah, I'm 110% agreement with you. I'm 110% agreement with you. Yeah. All right, guys. So next episode of the podcast is Saturday, 10 p.m. after Collision. We'll be talking about the results of the AEW tag match. Oh, CM Punk versus Ricky Starks for the final. That's going to be on that show. So Collision, big card. We'll have a lot to talk about. SmackDown will have a lot to talk about. Obviously, it's the more bloodline-centric program, and it's got LA Knight, so there's a lot of stuff on SmackDown worth watching, so we'll talk about that. We'll talk, and hopefully we'll see a little bit more of what's... you know what, Process? I'm very curious about if Punk's going to win the tournament. I feel like it makes sense for him to win the tournament because he's a big Owen guy, but you're going to just have Ricky Starks lose again? You know what I mean? I think Ricky Starks coming out with a freaking upset victory against Punk would be pretty fucking awesome. Not gonna lie. So I think either or would work. Punk winning because Punk is Punk. It makes sense. But Ricky Starks winning, it would be a great Ricky Starks moment. They should really be positioning him as a big guy on Collision, and him winning would go far for that. Guys, I want to thank you all for watching. I will see you guys Saturday, 10 p.m. for the Collision and SmackDown reviews. Oh, yep, Jordan, yep. Even Jordan agrees with me. Punk thinks Punk is gonna put over Ricky. I'm 110% agreement with you guys. Guys, I'll see you Saturday. Thank you to Jordan, and thank you to Process in the chat for participating. I appreciate you guys watching and hopping in the chat. You guys take care.